Hello, my name is Kelly Greenland, and I am a planner with HRM. Thank you for showing interest in this planning application, 2023-00812. This application seeks to allow a multi-unit residential building and a commercial building on lands located at 1491 Sackville Drive. We are seeking your feedback on this proposal. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. HRM acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. We would also like to affirm that we are in the decade for people of African descent. African Nova Scotians are a distinct founding people in our community who have been a key part of Nova Scotian culture and history. We acknowledge that African teachings and strength continue to challenge and inspire our community. The purpose of this engagement is information sharing. Staff will share information on the proposal and the process, and we hope that the public will share information in the form of feedback related to the proposal. It is important to note that the feedback provided from the public will form part of the public record. It is helpful if you include both general and specific feedback related to the proposal and the process. As the planner assigned to this application, my role is to manage the application through the planning process and its various stages. I am also the main point of contact for the applicant, various internal departments and external agencies reviewing the application, and the general public. I review current policies, provide reviewing departmental and agency requirements and feedback and public feedback to the applicant. I draft reports and agreements, and finally I make a recommendation to Community Council for their consideration on whether to approve or refuse the application. The applicant, on behalf of the property owners, has applied to enter into a development agreement to allow for the development of a commercial building at the front of the site along Sackville Drive and a multi-unit residential building situated behind the proposed commercial building. The site includes two parcels, which I will show in the next slide. The site is located at 1491 Sackville Drive on the northeast side, just southeast of Murchison Drive. Currently, the proposal site consists of two PIDs or parcels, which will require a subdivision process in order to consolidate or join and subdivide, break apart parcels to create the resulting site. You will notice the two maps, each with a parcel outlined and marked with a yellow star. These are the two parcels as they exist today. The larger parcel on the left of the slide is just over 13 hectares, and the parcel on the right is just over half a hectare. The map on the left-hand side of the slide shows a bit more area context. You can see the site marked by the yellow star on Sackville Drive, close to Murchison Drive and in close proximity to Highway 101. The site outlined in red on the right-hand side is the area that will be the development site after the subdivision process I mentioned on the previous slide. The development site is approximately 1.4 hectare in size. The photo on the top left-hand side of the slide is taken from the northwest and shows the site looking down Sackville Drive. The photo on the right-hand bottom side of the slide is taken from the south, showing the frontage of the site on Sackville Drive. The details of the proposal are shown here. There are two buildings proposed. The residential building at the rear of the site is proposed to be 6 stories with 124 units. Parking will be provided for 146 vehicles, with the majority underground and 32 surface stalls. The commercial building is proposed to be 3 stories with just under 1,700 square meters of gross floor area or 18,000 square feet. There will be a shared driveway off of Sackville Drive. Here is a rendering of what the development might look like from the northwest of the site, looking southeast. In support of the proposal, the applicant has submitted several technical documents. These include a site plan package, including floor plans and elevations, illustrated renderings or perspective drawings, a servicing schematic, a preliminary grading plan, a traffic impact statement, and an archaeological assessment. These plans are reviewed by the various departments and agencies and revised or supplemented as necessary according to the feedback provided. Now that I've shared the information regarding the site, context, and details of the proposal, I want to talk about the policy context and the planning process. When an application is made to the municipality, there are usually policies that enable an application. What that means is that while the development may not be permitted as of right through the zoning, it may be something that policy envisioned to be considered through a more involved process, and it outlines the guidelines which the application would be reviewed against. Planning in the HRM consists of 3 levels of policy documents. The highest level of guidance is provided through the regional plan. This identifies where population growth should occur, and in turn where investment in services like transit, piped water, and sewer should occur. The second level of planning policies are found in community plans. These plans provide focus on specific geographic areas and get more detailed about what type of development should occur where. Often, these policies provide the direction for types of uses that should be permitted as of right, and the types of development that may require more detailed review and guidance, such as development through a change in zoning or rezoning, or through even more detailed approaches, such as development agreements. In most cases, these types of applications, enabled or directed through community plan policies, are not only subject to more detailed review, but require a public process and a council approval. For this application, the applicable community plan is the Sackville Municipal Planning Strategy. The third and most detailed layer is the Land Use Bylaw. This outlines specific zoning and regulations that don't require special approval by council or development that is permitted as of right. If you meet the rules outlined within your zone, then you can go get a permit without council approval or engaging the public. A planning overview for this site at 1491 Sackville Drive. You can see the site is serviced by sewer and water. It is zoned R6 or rural residential under the Land Use Bylaw and is designated as UR urban residential under the community plan. The policy that enables or allows consideration of the application request is policy UR-8 and UR-20. These policies allow for the consideration of multiple unit dwellings over 6 units, UR-8, and commercial service uses, UR-20, on the site through the use of a development agreement. Multi-unit residential development proposals within the urban residential designation are considered under policy UR-8. This policy outlines a number of criteria that council should consider in their decision. These criteria include things such as building setbacks, height, lot coverage, location and adequacy of driveways and parking, amenity areas and landscaping, proximity of the development to community services and schools, availability of services and transportation networks, and special considerations for natural features and topography of the land. The considerations for the commercial portion of the proposal are found in policy UR-20. The criteria are much the same as for the residential portion. What is a development agreement? It is a legal agreement between a property owner and the municipality to ensure a site is developed in a particular manner. It is a mechanism to control development of a property or area and will specify the standards and conditions that a development must adhere to. Development agreements can include details that are included in the zoning bylaw, such as permitted uses, setback requirements, amenity and landscaping requirements, parking and access regulations, and it can tighten or relax those regulations as appropriate and permitted. They can also include even more specific details, such as building materials, pedestrian connection requirements, conditions of permit issuance, timelines for construction of the development, and what changes, if any, can be made to the development agreement. This phase of public engagement is actually a second round that came out of the first round. Back Back in November 2023, information regarding this proposal was sent out to landowners within a minimum of 80 meters from the subject site. A public information meeting was also held, with notification sent out to the same number of landowners. Information regarding the meeting was posted on the application website as well. Part of the feedback we heard was that the notification area should be larger. Therefore, as part of the process, we committed to providing information and requesting feedback from a larger notification area. This time around, we have provided a minimum notification area of 500 meters and the provision of this presentation and a survey through the Shape Your City web pages in hopes of reaching a greater percentage of landowners, residents, business owners, and interested parties. Further to the notification area feedback, we also received feedback and information regarding traffic, access, height, historical context, infrastructure capacity, and questions regarding the planning process. As part of the planning process, feedback from both the public engagement activities and from the departmental and agency reviews are provided to the applicant for their consideration. In this case, the applicant has responded with the inclusion of walkways within the development, space for and access to a potential bus stop on Sackville Drive, reduction of the number of driveway accesses off of Sackville Drive from 2 to 1, submission of an archaeological resource impact assessment, and they have provided additional information as requested with respect to the traffic impact statement. In terms of the planning process, this chart outlines the different stages an application goes through. You will notice we are on public engagement stage, and as noted, this is the second round. Stages 2 through 4, internal review, public engagement, and revision refinement of the proposal, can occur multiple times within one application process should it be required. Once the proposal is in relatively final form, staff will write a report with a recommendation to Community Council. Community Council will consider the recommendation ahead of their decision on the application. Community Council will make a decision on the application at the public hearing. Community members who were notified of the public engagement will also receive a notification of the public hearing and will have another opportunity to provide feedback and speak at the public hearing. The decision of council following the public hearing is appealable, and there is a 14-day appeal period. Providing feedback can occur in two main ways. Number one, respond to the survey. A link for this survey is provided on the application webpage. Or two, providing feedback directly to the file planner. Thank you so much for your interest. Your feedback is welcomed and encouraged. I am available for your questions and feedback via email at kelly.greenland@halifax.ca or via phone at 902-210-4513. The survey will be available online for approximately 3 weeks. Thank you so much for your time.